Okay, so welcome everyone to this session where we'll be discussing around system strengthening water system for human rights, the case of the Deep South in Madagascar. Before starting, I'd like to remind everyone that you're welcome to add your questions in the chat, and we're going to address them as much as possible at the end. So feel free to type them at any time. My name is Hantanyana Rapesanjatana. I'm the head of programs for WaterAid Madagascar, and I will be moderating this session. WaterAid is an international not-for-profit organization determined to make clean water, decent toilets, and good hygiene normal for everyone, everywhere. WaterAid works in 22 countries, including Madagascar, which we will put on the spotlight today. I have with me other colleagues and partners representatives who work towards the vision of an universal access to wash services, which are from the Ministry of Wash, Zu Angelica Ramayerson, Project and Partnership Unit Coordinator, Tsuran Evson, Service Delivery Advisor for a USAID-funded project called Ranmarch, a project implemented in the south of Madagascar by a consortium led by CARE. He holds 18 years experience in wash private sector. We also have our governance and policy senior advisor, Rodolfo Rakutuarsu, working for the wash sector for more than 20 years now. He has been leading the governance projects of WaterAid Madagascar for 8 years and also oversees the wash and climate resilient program for WaterAid Madagascar. We also have Denis Ramaye-Farson, in charge of the oversight of our modeling wash for scale project, aiming at reaching universal access for 2 municipalities in the south of Madagascar. He has worked for the wash sector for about 20 years, bringing expertise on monitoring, evaluation, and capacity building. So the presentation will be in English, but we have our interpreter, Delphine Nadiatsungaina, for any question raised in French during the question and answer session at the end. Okay. As per the agenda, we'll be walking through 6 main sections. We'll begin with an overview of the current situation in the south of Madagascar, supported by a short video. In the next section, we'll delve into the status of wash access in southern Madagascar and explore how it intersects with broader issues of peace, security, and human rights. In the third part, we'll showcase the approach that we're using to tackle wash access issues, which is the system strengthening approach. And to accurately measure progress, it is essential to first assess the initial state of the wash system. So in the fourth section, we will share an example of baseline data from 2 communes in the south of Madagascar. The findings will offer a comprehensive overview of the region's wash system status and help understand the system's dynamics. After that, we'll highlight a range of responses from the different partners. And finally, we'll call to action and open the floor for questions and answers. So Madagascar is the 4th largest island in the world, located in the Indian Ocean, with the eastern coast typically experiencing wet conditions, while the southern and western regions are more arid. So this climate variability presents significant challenges for water availability, particularly in the drier regions. Madagascar also faces frequent natural disasters like cyclones, floods, and droughts, which severely disrupt water supply and sanitation services. However, Madagascar has abundant water resources with significant groundwater reserves amounting to 387 billion cubic meters per year. However, less than 5% of these resources is exploited, leading to chronic water scarcity. And the water quality is also a significant issue, with only 54% of the population having access to improved water sources. In terms of management of water resources, Madagascar is fragmented, involving multiple institutions, which makes coordination challenging. While policies exist, their implementation is hindered by weak governance, limited capacity, and insufficient funding. Now let's watch a video to see how the situation that has been described is translated in real life for the communities. I need to stop sharing. Oops, where is it? Please. Where is it? Okay, here we are.
Ranunurang tsy misy ranunurang tsy nisy ndrea katakata tsy nisy nitiry anako enegny le zafiko enegny le tezako aby io tsy misy manandray ho anako tsy misy manandray koa zafiko reo mipetraka amako eto aby avao.
Tena mahasarotsah io zaho tsy manambaly hiaraka mieritseritsy amako fa zaho raiky avao ty miasa saigny ty mamelogna azy na ty hasilo. Ty fiveloma ay mamboly fa tsisy ranonora latsaka. Fa mety fa eny tao agny zay tsy niavia vao mizaho re niavy namboliagna bageda. Zay bageda ay tsy mirako tsy mandaly fa miningoningo magnambony avao ty loha fa mbe tsy misy ranonora harako azy. Mba nihafahafa ty nifiaignana ty zaho mbe nikedy. Mbe nivagno ty bageda, mbe nivagno ty taboara, nivagno ty tsako, nivagno ty balahazo.
Le mahavokatsy balahazo, mahavokatsy tsako, le fanjaka itanagna ey. Ka naho fa tsy nisy amizay zany ranon'oragna ey agnaty ty 2 tao, le nihatonga kere. Nisy olo maty, le nisy olo maty ty tetoy, fa maro ty ndaty hony maty, naho tsy niavitsela amizay ty baba marisialy le faty ty niafara.
Maiky le tena maiky tao itohinany zao zahay andavabaza tena maiky tsisy ravendavenjaho hany. Nafa tsy mamboly zahay mipaipay saribô nanoon-daty io. Mikarokaroky fa nanoon-daty madidiniky andesigny tapatapagony avarotsiny mahazo arivo avily vary kapoaray. Hatsy zay mamboly fe tsy mety. Mamboly fe tsy mety, mamboly le tsy mety, le taragnantsika avao ty mamono azy le miala maigny. Mamboly le tegna le mileveleve tany eo le maiky. Fa raha reraka avao, tsisy vokatsoa ho azo ama.
Ty varotsy kafe mofo tia, tsy nisy io ty tamikere tsy nisy vola. Fa atao igny tsy misy, tsy lafo koa igny le meko ka ho anako reo ka nafa tsy lafo.
Eny tao zahay tsy nihina sakafo, tsy nisy ranonora. Le misy tsy misy sakafo, le mivarotsy valany. Fanaka tormoso ray, le igny le sakafony zanako. Le misy agnaty 3 andro, agnaty 2 andro, tsy mihina. Mihina sirô, maka sirô anandaluana, le igny nihanina, igny nandesana miroro. Amanjare zahay maka rano.
tena mandreraka zany lavitra sady misy haboagna avy boaka roa tegna le milaly tegna ty boaka roa raiky tsy bidon 20 litres.
That was the longest walk I've ever done. So we've arrived at the village at 10:15, so that meaning that it was 4 hours and a few minutes, which is, I think, sick, thinking about it.
Mandeha toko amirua zany izaho hanany fareraka fa tsy mahafaka ze kele hita mi kafe eo le avily ze kele hita eo fa hanany zao 2 rano bidon 20 litres. Ty tena hafatsangatahyko zany le mba toko hisy barazy zany hanao hitariky rano na pompe na sakodo.
Bote angerengere wajajao vao tagnaty rano e, manasa lamba, manasa zavatra maloto rehetra egny aby. Igny amizay tsy mahasalama le zananay fa maloto le rano. Marary ny kibo. Fa nisy zanako ty narary mino misotro rano mangatsiaky, zanako kelikely 3 vola sy tao ray. Le raiky 3 taogna e, fa narary. Tena tahorako moanako reo atako ho maty. Satria tsy salama le mifangaro na ho tikere.
Okay. Yeah. So the video was produced last year, but the situation over there has not changed a lot so far. The deep south of Madagascar comprises actually 3 regions in the southern part of the country, but from here, let's focus on the 2 regions, Anus and Andrui, which are subarid and drought-prone areas. As we could see in the video, it is obvious that in such circumstances, communities, particularly women and girls, are unable to fully exercise their human rights. This graph highlights the prevalence of violence against women and girls, which is considerably higher compared to the national average for both regions, Anus and Andrui. Many factors contribute to these high rates, of course, but limited access to water and sanitation services will exacerbate the risks. Indeed, the water collection, for example, may expose women and girls to danger when it requires traveling long distances to reach the nearest water source, as we are able to see in the video, which can be isolated or unsafe areas. The journey to fetch water also exposes them to the risk of physical and sexual violence. Also, water collection typically takes place during early morning or late evening hours to avoid the heat of the day. And regarding the sanitation, the absence of safe and private sanitation facilities forces women and girls to defecate in the open and unsafe locations. So this lack of privacy increases their vulnerability to sexual violence. The time-consuming nature of water collection also limits women's opportunities to engage in income-generating activities, further entrenching their economic dependence on men. So now the wash sector in Madagascar has recognized the importance of addressing those challenges in a holistic manner. Most of the actors within the sector have adopted the system strengthening approach to design and adapt the programs and projects. So I invite you to watch now this 2-minute video from IRC explaining the system strengthening approach.
Taking a system strengthening approach. Water, sanitation and hygiene service delivery depends on many linked elements driven by social, financial, cultural and political dynamics. A system strengthening approach recognizes this complexity and understands that wash services do not exist in isolation. We use the term wash system to refer to whatever helps or hinders the delivery of wash. This can range from masons and mechanics to national policies and budgets. To simplify this complex network of variables, we've broken them down into 9 manageable parts or building blocks: policy and legislation, institutions, planning, monitoring, regulation and accountability, infrastructure, finance, water resources management, and learning and adaptation. These are the 9 building blocks of the WASH system. Together, they form the foundation of WASH service delivery. And rather than fitting neatly on top of each other like bricks on a wall, think of them as dynamic, interactive, and overlapping elements. Lasting change cannot happen without all the building blocks in place. Fortunately, their interconnectedness means that strengthening one building block can enhance others. Achieving universal WASH services is not an easy undertaking, but a system strengthening approach ensures that every advancement we make improves the overall system. We all have a role to play. What is yours?
Okay, so here I would like to mention that the structure of the system building blocks might vary from one organization to another. So for WaterAid, the WASH system should include as well a block on gender and social inclusion and on government leadership. To be able to assess our progress, we should set up first the baseline. So WaterAid has developed a baseline methodology to measure the progress towards universal access to WASH. Unfortunately, the baseline could have been implemented only at commune level in each of the 2 regions, but the result can be reflected for the rest of the communes within those regions. So with the baseline results in mind, we'll hear from the different projects successively and their contribution to building a more efficient, sustainable, and resilient WASH system in those regions, Andrew and Danus. So I would hand over now to Rodolphe, our first speaker, to present the baseline results for those 2 locations, followed by Denis from WaterAid Madagascar, and to present then the followed by Sue from the Ministry of WASH to present the plan for the emergence of Madagascar for the South, and then Denis from WaterAid Madagascar to present the project, modeling for scale project. And in the last, the first presentation will be done by Tsu from Ranmarcha project, focusing on developing the wash market for sustainable change. So I hand over to you, Rodolphe.
Okay, thank you. Yes, to strengthen wash system effectively, using data to understand cause and effect, and the system approach with adaptive management allow continuous improvement and adjustment to field realities. We assess service level and system performance before each intervention to identify accelerator or blockages. The baseline analysis includes quantitative assessment based on GMP indicators and qualitative assessment conducted at the commune level through consultation with local authorities, service provider, communities, and other local actors. Let's see some result from the finding within these surveys. Here we see the result from household surveys, and they take with Madagascar National Institute of Statistics, where in the top left we can see the water access, which is low. When you see the green linked with basics level, with a coverage of 20% in Amboissar and 5% in Ambuvumbe. Amboissar benefit from Mandare River intake, while Ambuvumbe relies solely on boreholes. Remote area from these two communes face greater challenges. We can see the result for sanitation in the right, where we can see a high rate of open defecation, 78% and 57%, with many non-improved toilets posing high health risk. In the bottom, we can see, we can talk about hand washing facilities. For example, in Ambuvumbe commune, there is 44% of households that have hand washing facilities, but soap is insufficient. Can you go to the next slide? Survey have also done within schools and healthcare facilities. You can see the statistic for healthcare facilities in the left and the school in the right. Healthcare facilities have 60% to 70% access to water, and 10 to 50% face quantity and quality issues. School in the other side have only 10 to 20% accesses. For sanitation, 40% of school and health centers have toilets, but few meet gender separation or accessibility needs. In general, we have poor access for hand washing facilities, with half of them lacking soap. We can continue. Here are some results from the system analysis, where we can see in the light brown color the maturity of wash, the maturity of the system for wash within institution, where we have many points on the strong and average. We can see some progress in standards and funding that have been made during the last year, some years, but IGNDF4 remains a challenge despite clear guidelines. In blue, we can see poor performance of water subsystems, primarily due to water resources and role confusions and power dynamics between municipality, national service providers, and such as Jirama and AES, which are the water providers. There is unclear financing process and decision-making authorities because of this lack of understanding of role and responsibility, and mostly local accountability or issues. For sanitation subsystems that we can see in green, most of them are on averages. We have an evolving sanitation subsystem, particularly due to national effort, significant progress in sanitation with initiatives such as Madagascar Module 2025 for rural area and 2030 for urban area. But challenges related to water scarcity hinder progress. For the IGN in violet within this table, IGN behavior change are mostly at local level. Effort struggle at the commune level, but improved regulation and with municipality codes are starting to drive positive changes, and women's involvement contribute to progress in these patriarchal communes. Thank you for hearing me. I give the floor to the Ministry of Wash. She will talk about the plan for the emergence of Madagascar for the South, the government's response about the challenge in the south of Madagascar.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor and an immense pleasure for me to participate in this session. Following the case study presented previously, at the national level, Madagascar had mentioned the major pillar #1 of the General State Program, Human Capital Access to Drinking Water for All. So the water sector under the coordination of the ministry aims by 2030 guarantee access for all to sustainably managed water supply and sanitation services. In order to achieve its 2030 objectives, the ministry has developed 5 strategic axes. So the developing access to water, development of sanitation and hygiene, protection, conservation, and management of water resources, improvement of sector governance, and developing partnership. Geographically, the extreme south of Madagascar is clearly divided into 2 parts, the northern part having water resources, either on the surface or underground. However, the southern part has problems related to water resources like as low quantity, poor quality, or salty. So the Madagascar Emergence Plan in the south was set up to solve these problems. I present to you here the projects currently in progress localities, like as the pipelines, like as boreholes. So about the pipelines, there are 97 kilometers of pipelines, and there are also the MAVEL project, the conversion of 706 water points into multi-use. And there are the project MAMAN. This is for the project of MAMAN, construction of a multi-use system with desalination unit and 10 systems with desalination unit. In future projects, the ministry plans to carry out, among other things, pilot projects such as the construction of agricultural infrastructure, high flow boreholes in 5 cultivable plants already identified, 1,000 water points multi-use in the 3 suffered regions of Madagascar. The high flow borehole is at Ambuvumbe at 5 cultivable plants already identified. That the action of the ministry focus more on the following activities, which are mainly linked to the 5 strategic axes mentioned. Urban master plan, increase sources of exploitable water, master plan for the development and management of water resources, water checking, rehabilitation of water points, multiple use systems, regional coordination for the waste cluster, water sanitation and hygiene master plan, and the establishment of the General Directorate of Sanitation and Hygiene on the same level as the General Director of Water. Implementation of sector regulation underway and collaborate with the World Bank to improve the sector monitoring system. In short, I have shared with you the activities already undertaken in the southern part of Madagascar. The ministry is still facing many challenges. Thank you.
Now we are, good morning everyone. Now we'll talk about modeling for scale project. The goal of this project is to achieve universal, safe, sustainable, gender-responsive waste services in Ambuvumbe and Ambasar communes achieved for influencing change at scale level by 2028. With 150,000 people as target, needs budget more than 38 million US dollars, but only around 300,000 US dollars are secured with water aid. It is 5 years project, start in 2023 and during 5 years, led by Ministry of Waste and communes as partners, WaterAid, UNZ, UNICEF, World Bank, Thames Water, Dirama AES, Technical Services of Ministries Governorate. Now, we are going to see the key activities per block on waste system approach to address the challenges found and shared before. This project aims to have master plan on waste designed and approved by stakeholders as urban master plan, local adaptation plan, on policies, strategies, and plan block. This needs good coordination and institutional arrangements. That's why we clarify roles and the responsibility of waste stakeholders, capacity building on law and waste legal text as water code, technical capacity building for municipalities agent is very important on planification and budgeting. On second project objective, we aim to have realistic finance to carry out these plans. Then, we advocate with stakeholders to increase contribution on MFS activities and for donors to invest for this universal access. Monitoring is capital for learning and to have good progress through CSAM, the National Sector Performance Monitoring System. As for third objective is to strengthen municipality to adopt transparency, accountability, and regulation on waste management. We train them on advocacy and leadership, follow decision making, and apply sanction or aware by local community and municipality. This concept is promoted for all objectives through training and involvement as possible for each step. The fourth objective of this project is to create waste model for scaling up, to improve water resources, to be to technical and finance partners to invest on sustainable water resources management and protection. Regarding the service delivery and behavioral change, feasible studies with WASH, elected manager, and municipality capacity building are among the priorities in addition to the development of the hygiene municipality code to promote hygiene behavioral change, construction and rehabilitation, water supply, and sanitation community and institutional level is also part of this project. These are not feasible without community ownership. For that, we empower communities, women, youth through awareness activities and capacity building. In conclusion, achieving universal access is not realistic without considering the waste system and integrated approaches with enough funds for not only infrastructure, but for soft activities also. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you for bearing with me for this presentation. We will carry on with this topic, how the RANMAT project will be implementing a system approach in the south of Madagascar. Let me first tell you more about the RANMAT, which means literally durable water. It is a project funded by USAID for $35 million, which aims to give access to 312,000 people to water services and 742,000 people having access to sanitation services. It's implemented in 7 regions, including 2 regions in the deep south of Madagascar, the Anus and Androy regions. We have started this year, and we will be working for the next 4 years to improve the WASH system and set up an enabling environment for private sector engagement in sustainable and inclusive water services in this region. As we are working with private sector and seek engagement, a financial objective of $3 million US raised from private companies and communes for co-financing WASH services is one of our objectives as well. You should be seeing a table with the building blocks framework into which we have spread our activities. How do we plan to achieve our objectives? The answer is by engaging private sector in delivering sustainable and inclusive water services in arid southern Madagascar. As you can see in the first block, for example, in service delivery and the behavior change, we are working with private sector at a local level. However, when you are planifying activities with private sector, the notion of scale required for the business viability imply a regional or even multi-regional planification and strategy. For the 1, 2, 3, 4th block, for example, the policies, strategies, and plan block is set up at a noticeably higher level because of that scale necessity. The WASH market context in the rural areas in South Madagascar is characterized by a very sparse population repartition, which creates an important needs for investment in the financing blocks, the second line, Many villages imply many infrastructure, more investment. Other important elements for this strategy can be found in the other blocks, which includes a comprehensive coverage of the a comprehensive coverage for the water services to achieve scale through widespread service coverage, a strategic site selection and capacity building for water service providers on PPP, on business planning for the sector private and the marketing strategies, as well as capacity building for municipalities to create a supportive environment and enhance regulation processes and service tarification to attract and facilitate private sector investment. Very important is the community engagement. Active peoples and communities here apply the people first principle to involve communities in planning and management, so no one is left behind. Ensure community buy-in and responsibility throughout the process, so that we can have a holistic approach to aid, focus on operation and maintenance beyond the initial technical solution. I think on the next slide, it's important to emphasize on the nexus development, ensure that it's on the previous slide. So ensure that there is a tight collaboration between humanitarian and development actors, especially when involving private sector, ensuring sustainable water system that address immediate needs while planning for long-term resilience, especially in chronic drought conditions like in the south, punctuated by acute floods or other disaster where humanitarian response are necessary. One final element to consider is the integration of different actors and the correct mapping of these actors and how they work. All these activities are contributing to strengthen the water system at different levels and were used as inputs for the gap analysis for water sectors as a contribution to a bigger picture understanding for the sector and the ongoing intervention, which makes the transition for the next part, which will talk more about this gap analysis. Up to you, Ant.
Okay, thank you, Sue. So as you can hear from the series of presentation, which use the system strengthening approach lens, we can conclude that there are actually significant gaps in all the different blocks of the water system across the two regions. And this indicates that even with the current interventions, sustainability is not yet guaranteed. Secondly, the challenge of ensuring synergy is also huge due to the diverse scales of intervention. Stakeholders are working in different communes, delivering fragmented interventions that partially reinforce the system at the commune level. So in general, based on this comprehensive review of the context and interventions, we call upon donors and all the stakeholders to approach the challenges even more holistically when prioritizing interventions. It is crucial to be prepared to allocate as much resource as possible to governance strengthening, but also to infrastructure development. It is also recommended to support the review of a sector strategic planning methodology, which should be based on a rigorous theory of change, because a comprehensive planning approach will enable stakeholders to better position themselves and understand the impacts they will bring. Also, developing a sustainable financing mechanism is essential. According to the Modeling for Scale project, achieving universal access in a single commune could require up to $15 million. So it is important to prioritize the development of a sustainable and realistic financing model that supports the approaches developed by the different projects, considering the fact that the context is marked by high structural challenges. So finally, adopting the model commune approach could be a solution to shift from scattered intervention with no lasting impact to focus interventions that ensure universal, sustainable, and replicable access to wash services. So thank you all for your attention. We will now open the floor for a question and answer session. Thank you. Yeah, a question from Nicole Lissenball. Yes, the video on the system strengthening is available on YouTube, but the video from WaterAid we can share. If you just want, if you can reach out to us and we'll share with you. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, I'm actually raising my hand as well. Hi, everybody. This is Nicole Linsenbold. Yes, it was a great video. So I'm going to reach out to you after this session because I'm really interested in seeing that again. Thanks a lot for sharing. And I do actually have another question, which is on Zirama. So Zirama, the company that provides electricity and water to population in Madagascar. I really enjoyed the presentation today, so thanks a lot for that. But what I'm lacking a bit is actually the perspective of Zirama and especially the responsibility of Zirama, because we've been talking a lot about development aid, we've been talking about US aid as well. But first and foremost, I see the responsibility in providing water, let alone electricity, but water to the Malagasy population. I see that responsibility in Zirama. And I do see that, especially in Région Sofia, which I know quite well, that Zirama is falling short on that responsibility because, well, water is lacking in many regions in Madagascar, including in the south, but also in Région Sofia. So I'm wondering, what can we do to strengthen Zirama, and what needs to be done to really make sure that Zirama does not fall short on its responsibility to provide water and electricity to the Malagasy population? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Nicole, for the question. I would hand over then to the Ministry of WASH. Maybe if Delphine can just translate a little bit.
Ok,
and,
oui.
Yeah, thank you.
Donc, oui, félicitations pour la présentation, c'était clair. Et la question porte principalement sur la Jirama, qui devrait être l'entreprise qui fournit l'eau, l'électricité et l'électricité à la population malagasse. Mais on a constaté que Jirama ne s'acquitte pas de ses responsabilités. Donc, on a beaucoup parlé d'aide, on a beaucoup parlé de financement, mais qu'en est-il de la Jirama? Qu'est-ce que nous pouvons faire pour renforcer la capacité de la Jirama de manière à s'acquitter de ses responsabilités, qui est de fournir l'eau pas seulement à la population d'une région particulière, notamment la région Sofia, mais à la population malagasse?
Donc, merci pour cette question. Cette question est très cruciale aussi et aussi très une question évolutive actuellement par rapport à la situation de la Jirama. Donc, la Jirama, c'est une entreprise concessionnaire, mais le contrat, c'est avec le ministère de l'eau, de l'assainissement et de l'hygiène. Notre présentation tout à l'heure se focalise sur le sud, donc je prends l'exemple par rapport au sud de Madagascar. Actuellement, il y en a des renforcements en
First of all, thank you for that very important question.
Avec les bailleurs, notamment la Banque mondiale actuellement qui travaille en Bossard pour, je viens de présenter tout à l'heure, pour le projet Manjari Sampoul. Et aussi, il y en a aussi le renforcement avec le ministère de l'eau par les ressources propres internes du ministère afin de collaborer avec la DIRAMA selon l'appui de l'État malagasy, par exemple pour la réhabilitation des infrastructures. Comme nous savons tous que le prix de l'eau à Madagascar, c'est encore très, très bas. Donc, il y en a des solutions proposées par le ministère aussi par rapport à la mise en place des gestionnaires, investisseurs, constructeurs. C'est logique actuellement pour accélérer avec le secteur privé afin de développer le secteur eau à Madagascar. Donc, il y en a actuellement la mise en place de l'organisme régulateur afin de voir ensemble comment on va mettre en place cette structure de gestion avec le secteur privé. Par rapport à la situation à Antananarive, nous savons tous actuellement, il y en a des projets avec la Banque mondiale, le PAEP, qui va appuyer l'État malagasy, cherche toujours les solutions afin d'appuyer la société DIRAMA dans le cadre de projets avec la Banque mondiale, PAEP actuellement, déjà a mis en cours de processus. Donc, la mise en œuvre est actuellement en cours. Mais à part ça aussi, il y en a le projet avec l'Union européenne, le DIRAMA Water Free, qui est en train de dans la mise en œuvre du projet aussi. Par rapport, prenons par exemple aussi à Thomas, actuellement, il y en a des projets avec le JICA, le gouvernement japonais, afin de réhabiliter quelques infrastructures à Tamatave. Maintenant, pour d'autres régions, nous travaillons avec les organismes comme WaterAid, travaillons avec USAID. Donc, l'État malagasy cherche toujours des solutions par rapport à la situation. Notamment, nous parlons que la DIRAMA, c'est une société qui travaille au niveau des districts. Merci.
Delphine, okay, could you please help us with the translation? Yeah.
Okay, so the JIRAMA is getting some support from the ministry and from the state, namely in the finding some solutions, for example, rehabilitation of infrastructure. We know that the water price in Madagascar is very low still, and for that, the ministry is looking for some solution, namely the implementation of the GIC, that is the manager, investor, and constructor or builder. And we collaborate with the private sector as well. And we are also implementing regulation structure. And in Antananarivo, for example, there is a project in collaboration with the World Bank, that is PAEP, that is supporting JIRAMA as well. JIRAMA is also benefiting from other projects, namely the EU project. There is also support by the Japanese government in Tuamasina, that is to rehabilitate infrastructures in Tuamasina. And we are also working with agencies, namely USAID, WaterAid, in order to implement the work.
Thank you so much, Delphine and Sue. Okay, another question from Dorcas. You can take the mic, Dorcas. Or do you want me just to
Sure,
read?
sure. Thank you very much. It's just to understand, to follow up the question of the work of Jirama, to understand the role of the regulator on DEA. If that's functional, or if that's replaced by something different, or how that's operating, or if that's something that's helping the management of water.
Yeah. Donc, ma question porte sur l'organe régulateur qui est l'ONDEA. Est-ce que c'est opérationnel actuellement, ou bien est-ce que ça a été remplacé par quelque chose d'autre? Est-ce que ça aide?
Donc, merci. Permettez-moi de vous expliquer un peu le rôle de l'OREA et le rôle de l'ONDEA. Tout d'abord, par rapport à l'OREA, c'est comme l'Office régional de organisme régulateur de l'énergie, comme l'ORE par rapport à l'énergie. Donc, le rôle de l'OREA, c'est d'assurer, contrôler l'assurance sur les services et aussi régler, par exemple, des litiges. Et actuellement, l'OREA, c'est en cours de la mise en place. Donc, le décret de la mise en place, c'est encore en cours. Mais par rapport à l'ANDEA, il y en a actuellement la mise en œuvre de l'ANDEA. Donc, l'ANDEA, c'est surtout se focaliser sur la protection des bassins versants. Et en plus, ça, c'est la collecte de fonds national de redevance. Donc, ce qui différencie l'OREA et l'ANDEA, donc c'est l'OREA, c'est un organisme régulateur, mais l'ANDEA, c'est une autorité nationale. Mais ce sont tous sous tutelle du ministère de l'eau, de l'assainissement et de l'hygiène. Donc, si vous me demandez quel est le rôle de l'OREA et l'ANDEA par rapport à la Jirama, donc l'OREA, s'il va fonctionner, c'est pour assurer, contrôler et assurer le contrôle du travail de la Jirama sur les services. Est-ce qu'il y en a des litiges? Parce qu'actuellement, c'est ça notre contrainte. Donc, il faut mettre en place l'organisme régulateur. Mais par rapport à l'ANDEA, le rapport avec la Jirama, c'est qu'il y en a mentionné dans la facture de la Jirama, normalement, le fonds et surtout pour assurer la protection des bassins versants. Voilà.
All right. So regarding the roles of the OREA and ANDEA, so OREA is a regulatory body. It is controlling, ensuring the control of the work of the Jirama, and it is also addressing any possible litigations, and ANDEA is ensuring the protection of the watershed. So, as I said, OREA is the regulatory body. It is a body regulating energy, and its role is to oversight the and ensure the work of Jirama is well carried out, and it is also the body settling litigations. And it is being implemented now. The implementing decrees are ongoing. And for as far as ANDEA is concerned, it is functional, and the role of the ANDEA is to protect the watershed and to collect the royalties. Okay. Yes, that's it.
Okay, thank you so much, Azu from the Ministry of Water, for clarifying and those questions. I think, we have to stop there from now. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out through the World Water Week platform. We are happy to respond to your questions. Thank you. Thank you to all the speakers. Thank you to all the participants. Yeah, bye-bye. Thank you.